Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Dev Quickie. Our topic is bullet time. Let's get right to it. We are going to be using this Global's Helper class. It allows easier access to the content, sprite batch and elapsed game time. It also provides the screen's dimensions. The sprite class serves as a base for our game objects. It has a few basic properties, a constructor and a draw method. And the game manager class, that will bind everything else together. We will use this bullet texture for our project. Okay, let's start coding. We first define a bullet class. We want to randomize some of the bullet's properties, so we prepare a random number generator, a direction vector and speed of the movement. Because we want the bullet to spawn randomly on the screen, we create a method that will generate a random position and use it in the constructor as a position parameter of the sprite. We also randomize the rotation, and since it is in degrees, we have to convert it to radians. Then calculate the direction vector, using the sine and negative cosine of the rotation. The speed will be a constant for our example. The last thing we need is an update method. It will adjust the position by the typical formula. The direction is multiplied by speed and time. After the movement, we check if the bullet flew off the screen. And if so, we move it back to the other side of the screen. Let's test the bullet's movement using the game manager. We load the texture, create an instance of the bullet, and call its methods. Here we go. Great, the bullet is flying from side to side as intended. To make things more interesting, let's increase the bullet count to 100. We use a list to store the bullets, and cycles to work with them. Let's take a look. Good, that's more like it. And now to get the time flow slower. We move to the Global's Helper class, and introduce new property, bullet time. As long as the mouse button is pressed, it will be only 5% of real time. In the bullet class, we switch from real time to bullet time. Let's test how it looks. While the mouse button is pressed, the bullets are slowed down. Great. But it might look even better. The transition is too quick, it could be gradual. Let's make a time manager, it will handle these transitions. We first move everything time related to the new time manager. And then use the manager inside the Global's Helper class. To create the transition, we define a few constants. Minimum and maximum time dilation. These are the boundary values. Time dilation speed is the duration of the transition. Time dilation per second is a calculated difference. And lastly, the current value of the time dilation. While the mouse button is held, the time dilation will be decreasing, effectively slowing down time. It will be increasing otherwise, going back to full speed. We add a clamp to ensure the value is within the boundaries. The final bullet time is simply the real time, multiplied by the current dilation. Let's give it a go. When holding the mouse button, the time gradually slows down and speeds back up upon release. Perfect. And that's it for this episode. You can find the code in the description. And if there are any topics you would like to see next, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.